Okay, today I want to talk about using ClickUp to make sure that projects don't go over scope. So this is a huge thing, and it should be any client, not just projects, just any project, client work, that it doesn't go over how many hours or how much you agreed to do for them, so that you don't end up being an unprofitable business is really what it boils down to. Every hour we work beyond what we billed for originally means we're just making less money. So in ClickUp, I did this really cool thing. I'm just always playing around with it. So I know I have, based on my scope management, so I'll show you this first because this is kind of the main part, is that this project, what I'm blocking with my face over here, is showing how many hours. It shows everything there, so I just don't want to show all the things, but we have 36 hours for this project. So I've been monitoring the whole time how many hours I've been doing, just to see when, I'm getting to the point where I've finished what they've paid for. So we're up to 29. So that means we're down to the final 6 hours. So I was starting to take a look through what I still needed to get done in that time and try to figure out how to prioritize and also set limits for each task that I was working on, like how the maximum amount of time that I had to spend on that so that I didn't go over budget. Here I was just showing everything I said I was going to hide. How I did that, I'm going to show you this right now because I feel like this is really, really cool. So I had, like I said, I only have 6 hours left for this project. And so I had to figure out from what was still remaining to be done, how many hours I had to give to all of those activities. So now one thing to this is that I'm obviously trying to set this limit, but if I can't get it done in that time, I can't get it done in that time. But it's just so I know, okay, I have this amount of time to work on this, that I can work towards that goal, and hope that that estimate is as accurate as possible so that I can stay within the remainder of the project. So 6 hours. And so what's really cool about this and how I have this set up is I have it grouped right now by assignee. So it's separating out, the tasks that I have assigned to the client from the ones that are assigned to me to the ones that are unassigned, which don't matter for planning the next sprint or the final sprint of the project. So when it's assigned or when it's grouped by assignee, then I get to use this calculate feature, like a column calculation. Now this is only a pro feature or like a paid feature, so you will not have this option if you're using the free version. But this allows me then to calculate, okay, so now I have about 6 hours. I had already tweaked some of this around, like I was changing time estimates. I had to bring some things down to be like, okay, I can't spend that long on that. I have to find a way to be more efficient, if that means like using ChatGPT or just being more focused, getting it done in that time with no distractions. And so I worked it to the point, like I changed the time estimates around to the point where I was at 5 hours and 45 minutes, which is right within how much scope they have left in the project. So that was the first piece. I knew I had 6 hours. I knew there was still work that needed to be done. And so I took this view of the remaining tasks and I looked at how they calculated for time estimates. So how long each of them was going to take, and then in total, how much hours that was, so that I could see how it fell in regard to the 6 hour minimum. I feel like I just made that way more complicated than it needs to be, but alas, here we are. So the first piece was that I wanted that time calculation, but the second piece was I wanted to prioritize, because I'm a type of person who needs to be like focused, or else I'll just be everywhere. So what I did was go through and added a priority. I said to myself, okay, this is the most urgent priority, these ones are high, and these ones are normal. So now this allows me to, okay, so I have 6 hours left, which for a lot of us can be like, holy shit, that's super, I feel really anxious by that, knowing that I only have 6 hours, and then every hour I spend over that, I'm starting to lose money. Like that's an anxiety inducing thought. So this is my way of kind of having control over that spiral from happening to keep me out of feeling that way, is that I can see exactly how that time is being spent, and now I can focus by using priorities as well on which tasks are most important and work my way through the list. So this is how I'm managing the last leg. I think this is a really cool way that you can manipulate what ClickUp's telling you based on like just something as small as how I've chosen to group it allows me to look at this information differently, right? Because if I had it grouped by status, say, then like I'm not getting the same information. Like I got 5 hours, 15 minutes, okay, 30 minutes there. It's just like to show you how how customizable ClickUp is. Like, you can use it in so many different ways to tell you what you need to know in that moment. And so I've just used it to help me set myself up to really use those final 6 hours as best I can and make sure this project is a success and reaches its end date as planned. So I hope that's helpful. I think this stuff is really cool. These examples are really helpful for me to kind of, come to terms with how I use ClickUp as well, and to my own knowledge, and kind of help solidify that knowledge by sharing it with you. So if you want more ClickUp stuff like this, I share all this stuff in my email list, Unapologetically Organized. It's a weekly newsletter, and lots of goods and tips for ClickUp in there as well that I don't share on YouTube. So I'll see you in the inbox or next time on YouTube. Okay, bye.